it's interesting because obviously as cloud has become superfluous and more companies move to the cloud and more applications change and actually the architecture changes of how the cloud's used. My interest is in security, and security often through the history of the internet has always been often was an afterthought. Other things were
What?
well, the priority was on like.
No, I agree with you. I often said that. I said security was always the last part they put on the car before it goes out the door, and that's not the way to do it. It's systemic to everything you do.
Exactly. I mean, I saw a lecture by Vint Cerf talking about how they weren't thinking about how to secure things. They were making sure that the whole thing arrived. The packets would get there versus like if anyone else was listening. So I'm curious. Kind of with all the stuff that's been happening with cloud, you see things about like, as you said, the complexity management, but as security posture management and all of that. And there's software coming out and policies coming out and all of that. What do you think's going on in that space? What are kind of like the trends going on with security related to the cloud?
Yeah, it's really kind of thinking through this adapt and respond, kind of paradigm, that we're moving through. And we've always thought through it, but the reality is that we're setting up security systems. There were stagnant processes, policies that were set up. And if the hack or the attack, kind of wasn't in that area, then, we were hurt because people were able to work around it. And so instead of exploiting these things because they're static in nature, or the ability to kind of look at the behavior and how the attack vectors are occurring, who's doing what, where they're coming from, and then respond in such a way as well as react and change, something that security systems need to do. And so we've always had this notion, and it's been out there with PhD dissertations and things like that for a long time. We're going to bind AI technology to security and have the security in essence get smarter and better at dealing with these changing attack vectors. These hackers get, and these breachers, or even people who make mistakes within the company, get a little bit more of a get a little bit more complex and a little bit more good at what they do. And that's the only way to keep up. And so this is about automating the ability to deal with security, not only to react and respond to different security systems, but grow, change, and adapt, based on the attack vectors that are changing. And the thing is, if you rely on human beings to sit down and make these adjustments, that's where you're going to get got, because we're just not that good. We can have 100 people who are looking at something, versus, one good automated service that's able to take this stuff, leverage its training data, create a knowledge base and respond to attacks in different ways. And I think that's what we're looking to move to right now. And if you look at all the security companies, they're kind of building out, those sorts of things. It's going to be a while before it's, a core reality. Leveraging cloud is a step in the right direction because we have better weapons in the cloud to deal with security, than we do on premise now, because that's where all the money's being spent. And so everybody's, moving into the cloud. And then you're able to, take these various tool sets you have in the cloud these days, machine learning, deep learning systems, things like that, and weaponize them for security. And that's the way it's got to happen. The days of, trying to build a better mousetrap and then, doing the spy versus spy thing are over. And so we have to set up this intelligent, system that's able to, in essence, battle on our behalf, and we'll learn and become better over time.
I'm curious, how far do you think, countermeasures like the ones you're talking about, like software-based or even hardware-based security solutions can go versus, the process of doing the security by people? I mean, writing secure code is still really a manual process. Software can help, but I'm a little bit cautious about how far, AI-based tools and stuff like that can go. Of course they can help, but do you think they'll ever replace kind of like human intervention and human monitoring of that stuff?
No, and I was really kind of thinking about more of the SecOps space when I was thinking about the AI stuff. And
Yeah.
so it still takes a good developer and a good innovator to, in essence, build code that's going to have a solid security system. But I do think that the intelligent tools and the automated tools to do the security testing and the automated testing and things like that, and do the code replacement systems, and even automate some of the basic security systems that need to be in code, are still going to be something that we need to focus on. So moving forward, like I said, it's systemic to everything. It's just, if we're dealing with a DevOps chain, it's systemic to the way in which we do CI/CD, the ability to do design in certain ways, and the ability to automate this stuff as much as you can. So we're in essence taking the routine out of it. One of the things I never know if I have, say 100 developers working for me, is the degree and the talent in which they're able to secure their code.
Totally.
And so, right. And so if I teach them to use automated tools, they don't have to think about that, and do so in such a way where they're able to leverage the tools as a force multiplier versus trying to code everything. That's going to be a better tool for them moving forward. But it's also beholden to me to check their code using automated features and capabilities and things like that, scanning their code for security issues, and the ability to do pen testing and black and white box testing in an automated way. And before it's into deployment, make sure it goes through security testing, has an operational aspect to it in terms of how it's teaching the SecOps processes, either humans or the AI systems we just talked about, to manage their code securely, to manage the application securely, to protect the data securely.